What's up everybody? Welcome to another ECM Vision Studio painting video. And today I'm going to be working on these blank canvases here. These are 16 by 20 pre-made canvases on wood frame. And what I'm going to be doing is using a spray paint and water technique, using like a spray bottle, to put down a foundational first layer on it. It's a really interesting start to make a painting. It also creates really interesting texture. On this one, you can see I've already started, and I'll bring it up closer. You can see all of this speckledness in here is from the spray paint and the water. Now, why do I use the water? Because it breaks up the paint and it starts to run, it dilutes it, it creates coagulation and different types of textures in it that I find to be really interesting. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. Got these two here, and let's get into it. Spray bottle and a little water. So we're just going to get into it and start. What I do is start spraying the water down first. Also gonna get a rag to do some of this with it. You get some nice textures with it that way. And when I'm doing this, it's pretty random. I'm not necessarily following like a method. I'm just kind of going with my gut on it. So you can see that it's like a process of creation and destruction at the same time. And the reason why I use spray paint is to create, it has nothing to do with graffiti. I just really like how the paint applies to the surface, in that it's a spray, it's omnidirectional. I mean, you can get really direct lines, but even when you do that, you still have some frayed edges, which I really want, because I'm basically creating an atmosphere, creating like a bed. I'm creating like a surface, like an earth-like surface almost. So you can kind of see craters, and it's almost like a typography. surface texture, along with, I guess, kind of an overall cosmic, you know, with the myriad amount of dots, sort of a anti-star look maybe. I'm pretty happy with what's happening here. You can kind of see part of the process here. So you can see that when it's drying, it's already starting to kind of, there's some cracking that happens in here and some really nice layering. I probably should be letting it dry a little bit more in between layers. But for today, we're gonna try this. And when it gets closer to the end, I try to even out the composition so it has more of an all-overness rather than very specific forms that are popping out. Because eventually I'm going to paint on top of it, and this is meant to be sort of a flat surface, but it's a flat surface with layering underneath it. So it has creating like a translucent layer on top of all this other work. So it has just enough like illusionary kind of depth to it so that when I go and paint on top of it, if your eye strays into any of these areas away from the main focus, the eye gets treated with some interesting layering effect. That's a nice detail. And then what I'm doing here is I'm half pressing the cap to get this really less fine mist and more of a coarse mist. And it's a little tricky to do. You definitely got to play. Play around with it a little bit to find it. But also, what I like about these Rust-Oleums or the caps, they're really user-friendly. And they lend it themselves really easily to doing like a half press like I was doing. So you just kind of do one of these. All right, I think that's pretty good. You can take a close-up of what these are looking like right now. So they're still wet, but you can kind of, this is pretty much, it'll dry, but it'll be much flatter. But you can see all these nice cracks that happened in here. And then when more of this water evaporates too, it'll create even more cracks and different gradations of paint. So you can see I'm trying not to let it drip too much, but it's a really dynamic surface, flat but translucent, with different areas to look at. So this is just one of my ways of starting a painting. I think it's really interesting and kind of a fresh way of just getting things started when you maybe don't have a clear idea but you have a desire to paint. So thanks for joining me on this little process video of how I get a painting, one of the ways I get a painting started. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up and subscribe to stay updated with my art journey. Thanks for watching.